advice from our guests who are individuals who were in your shoes maybe 4 months ago, maybe a year ago, because we have a recent alumni panel here to speak with you. Look at how robust our panel is. Look at this, so great. Woo! Yeah! So it's been a pleasure being here to moderate this panel. I know it's been a pleasure, and I want to take the time to thank my fellow Northeastern colleagues, Natalie and Haley. You know them as the academic advisors for COE, who have taken a lot of time for us to come together to plan this event for all of you. And so we have a lot to cover, okay? But we also want to be mindful of the varying directions, right, that you all might be going in with your career, right? We tried to make our panel very diversified in terms of study areas as well as directions of where they took their degree, what's their bachelor's and master's degree. And so, how many of you would prefer for them to use the microphone? Do you guys prefer to use the microphone? Maybe some of you. Maybe. Okay.
Well, can you hear me okay? Well, maybe this is kind of more, because I feel like I'm shouting otherwise. Okay. Yeah, doesn't this sound better?
Yeah, I think so.
Right? Okay, great. So, I'm excited to be here, and I think we're just going to get things started. So I'm going to take some time. I know that all of you might have questions, okay? And we want to make sure that your questions are answered, but we also have lots of things that we want to share with you, lots of things that maybe you didn't even think that you wanted to ask, but we know that you would want to know it. It's kind of with the phrase, you don't know what you don't know. Right? And so that's why we're excited. We have developed lots of questions for you, but there will be some time at the end for you to also ask very personalized questions in terms of like your own personal journey, okay? So let's get things started, okay? So if all of you want to share your name, where you're originally from, which program you were in, because some people might not be able to read your name tags in the back. But all of their bios are in your career, so feel free to look it up there, okay, where you register for the event. And if you want to share a little bit about what you're currently working on at your role.
Hi everyone, my name is Do Yu. I'm originally from China, and I did my master at Northeastern. My program is electrical engineering. So first year I was working at electronics lab under Professor Brad Lehman. I don't know whether some of you guys took his class or not. And at the end of the first year, I did my co-op at Rockwell Automation as a hardware engineer. And right now I'm working at ANSYS as a customer tech support engineer. So that is my background.
Hey guys, my name is Shaunak. I'm originally from Mumbai in India. My master's over here was in mechanical engineering with a concentration in material science. Currently I'm working as a manufacturing engineer with a company called Medtronic, and they are one of the giants in the medical device industry. I did my co-op with another company in the medical device sector called CR Bard through Northeastern, and that's basically where I got my understanding of where I want to be. That's pretty much my background. And my bachelor's has been in production engineering, and that's why I got into manufacturing and mechanical engineering. Thank you.
Hello guys, my name is Rohan. I am from India as well, from Mumbai. My MS program at NU was engineering management. I'm currently working with Schneider Electric. I'm working as a purchasing project leader. I got in there like 2 months after I graduated, so it was a tough patch in between. Connection to interviewing, so yes, absolutely. If you guys ever come across an opportunity in Schneider, you can definitely get in touch with me and I could help you out with that process. Thanks.
Good evening, guys. My name is Ajit Manuel. I'm from Chennai, India. I'm currently working as a product manager with Verisk Analytics. So we deal with analytic solution for insurance, finance, and energy sectors. I completed my master's in engineering management, finished it this August summer 2. I went on a co-op here through Northeastern at Harvard Medical School as a project and product management intern. I had a few years of experience prior to Northeastern in the data and software engineering sector. So yeah, it's been a great experience, and yeah, you guys can reach out later if you find anything cool there in Verisk. Yeah.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Richard Khaikao. I'm originally from Thailand. So I went to my master degree energy system engineering with the minor in financial and accounting decision making. So right now I'm working with the Art Valley company, is the startup company in California. So I can work remotely, and also right now I come back to Boston and take another degree in master in finance and accounting in business school as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Betty Liu, originally from China as well. I graduated last year in energy systems, and I used to be the vice president of the Energy Systems Society. And currently I'm a mechanical engineer in Jacobs Engineering, which is only 10 minutes walk from school. So I'm majorly in doing commercial building, pharmaceutical, and a lot of building styles. So currently at my group, the MEP group is looking for co-op and also looking for full-time. So if you happen to go to jacobs.com and see any openings in Boston office, just connect with me and let me know to see if I can help you.
Hey everyone, I'm Teja originally from India. My master's program was in civil engineering with concentration in construction management, and currently I'm working in ICOM. It's a civil engineering company here in downtown Boston. Yeah, I mean, like, if you guys come across any roles on the website, you can definitely reach out to me. Yeah, thank you.
Hi all. Good evening.
A little bit closer.
Sorry. Is it audible? So my name is Maiti, and I'm a recent grad, 2018 summer, and I did my masters in information systems, and I am specifically a software guy. I like coding, I like building up things, and I did my internship with Entity Data Services last year, where I was building chatbots, AI, ML, working on that. And right now I'm working with Wiser Solutions. You can download the app called Mobi, where you can get some points by going to the stores. It's basically a market selling softwares. And yeah, you can ask me about anything about how you can crack the full-time jobs. Yeah, I will be happy to.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm gonna start us off with a question for Teja. Would you want to talk a little bit about what types of resources that Northeastern provided that helped you find your first position after you graduated?
Yeah, thank you. So the resources, I would say, the first resource is your co-op advisor. So I had I had my resume reviewed by my co-op advisor at least 30 times during the 2 years. And the second resource I turned towards is Career Development Center. They are really doing a great job. I know most of the people, like, they maybe they don't know, or they have just started at Northeastern, but this is really a great resource. Also, if you can check the Wikipedia page of Northeastern, they are like ranked maybe I guess like first for the in Princeton review for 5 consecutive years, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. and your academic advisor, of course. Yeah, those are the resources.
Yeah, so I think, something that is really great to hone in on is that Northeastern has like this magnitude of support resources, and you want your resume reviewed by your co-op coordinator, individuals in the Career Center, right? Because you want it continuous to be improved, because it's such a subjective piece of your application process that can get you in the door for your interview. So next, I kind of want to transition to that interview process, and I know that a couple people wanted to share a little bit about what mistakes they made in the interviewing process and what you learned from them. So let's get started on this side.
So I wanted to know my audience who are looking for internship or full-time as a software engineer, because my advice would be very much particular to them. Can you guys raise hands? Okay, I got hands. So my advice would be to start practicing coding, starting from basics, data structures and algorithms, because that is the most and foremost. First round would be how they judge you guys. So my advice would be like whenever you are approaching some problems, you should analyze in a free way. I mean, don't think about that I'm not gonna do or what's gonna happen. Just think it out, and something will come up. Because if you do your homework, do at least 100 questions in leadcode.com, definitely you can clear it up. So that would be my quick advice.
And I know, Deja, you had another good interviewing story as well. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
So everyone think about interview, usually will prepare your resume and the cover letter. But here I will give you a little bit tip, like prepare a PowerPoint version of your personal presentation, like just to briefly introduce yourself and your previous project. Because at my last interview, the last round I went on site, but I didn't prepare anything. So at that moment, I have the feeling maybe I won't get that job. But I look around the room, I found there's a whiteboard. So I said, well, I didn't bring anything, so why not I just show you guys like on the whiteboard what I did before. So I did maybe 3 or 2 hours interview by the whiteboard. But I would largely recommend you guys prepare a PowerPoint version of your self-introduction. That would be really helpful. Yeah.
Great. I think, the biggest things is preparation, right?
Yeah.
And spending that time to dedicate and think about and ask those questions. So thank you so much for your insight. So how many people in the room right now are, your next experience would be a co-op or internship? Can you raise your hand? Okay. And then how many people are going to be graduating in the next couple months or in May? Okay. So when we think about, the importance of networking and how that plays a role in acquiring either a co-op or internship, I'm going to pass the microphone down, but just 2 or 3 people want to comment on that a little bit.
Okay, so networking is 24/7. Okay, wherever you go, whoever you meet, you are always networking. You could be networking with someone from another department, from a career fair, from an exhibition, whatever it may be. You are going to talk to them. You're going to tell them who you are, what you're bringing to the table, what are you interested in getting into, because the person you're speaking to might not be your employer, but he might know somebody who was looking to hire, or he might speak about you to somebody, and somewhere something works out, and it just happens. So networking is 24/7. And if you guys can't find, if you think that your course is too specific and you can't find a networking event, I'm sure there are a lot of resources. There's one website called Meetup, so that has a wide range of topics that you can find exhibitions or events on. You just go there, speak, probably take a couple of resumes, get a visiting card, you get that on campus, and you can just pitch yourself to people you meet over.
I'll share a little tip I use for my networking. So first of all, invest in LinkedIn Premium. It's, I think, $30 a month. It's worth it just for 3-4 months that you guys are going to use it. So usually you guys would probably look for jobs on that. So here's a little tip. Go to your people page and look for the position you're looking for with the word hiring. So that's the keyword you want to use, and look for people. So it's going to just give you a list of people. It wouldn't be recruiters, but hiring managers or people in the organization who just shared that the company is hiring or have hiring on their tagline on the bio. So reach out to them directly and have a good pitch when you reach out to them. Don't right away tell them that you need a referral or you need them to do something. Start off by talking about, hey, I just saw this, and something about the company, a little bit about you, and then it'll be great to connect further about this and not just, could you refer me? So that'll give you a chance for them to know a little bit about you, and then you can take it up from there. And if they can't help you directly, they're definitely going to connect you to the recruiters, or if they're a hiring manager, which happened for me in 3 occasions, they would push you to probably a round or 2, they would just connect with you informally on LinkedIn itself. So that's something you guys can try.
For me, I want to add on the face-to-face networking. I think it's because it's like most people are looking for the job online, and then like all the application that they fill online, the company that I work with, or like many companies that they not even look on it because of maybe they don't need on that time, or maybe on the right time on the right person. But for the face-to-face, I might say like if you know someone in person, and then even today they not hire you, but they know that who you are and what you have to be able to tell them that what are you looking for, and you have to tell them that okay, I'm looking for a job, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I think because it's like no chance, especially for me like international student, I have only after graduation I have only 90 days to find a job. If I cannot get it, you kick out, right? And this time is like international student in the US, million student. So the number of jobs available allow I might say like 40,000. That's why 4% get a job. How to get into 4%? That is I think is kind of networking is I think the most important factor for me. I think because for my example, I went for the first club in Italy, and then I met my CEO for my job right now in Italy, and then she originated from Poland, and then she went back to Italy and she found a company, and then she contacted me. Did you graduate yet? And then did you interest for the job? And then they hired me. That is, I think, is kind of like you cannot connecting the dot looking forward, right? You can only connect them looking backward, like Steve Jobs quote. And that is I think is kind of like is the tool that you have to go out and find the networking, or the conference, energy conference, or the conference in Boston. We are in the great area. Just go out every weekend, not stay in home, not just looking for the job.
Thank you so much. That was incredibly insightful. Don't you all agree? Yes. So like we all know the importance of networking, and I think sometimes we put so much thought into how we go about it, and so I appreciate the recommendations of the different approaches, whether you prefer doing it on LinkedIn or you prefer to go to different conferences or meetup groups or different events, because Boston is full of those opportunities. And so let's transition. I know Betty, you wanted to talk a little bit about what experiences helped you in securing your current job.
So actually, for my bachelor, I did my bachelor in Australia, and then it was solar energy engineering. And by that time, I couldn't find an internship at all. But I need to have an internship to graduate. Out of sudden, I find the internship in California, so I flew all the way from Australia to California. I'm like, America is great. So I decided to finish school in Australia and move here, and then. So between the transition, during the grad school, I found my another co-op at RDK as an energy analysis, because I'm so interested in sustainability because of my background, and also because my interest, and also because my persistence. I finally persuaded the boss to hire me. He's like, no, I don't consider international student. I'm like, just think about me. I can do this. I can do the energy modeling for you. I know all this kind of mechanical and electrical background. If you don't hire me, then maybe it's your loss. So with all those like overseas experiences, and also I used to work in China as well, and then everything add up together for my current job, it's more like, yes, I will listen to you, but I will also say no. That's how I can security my quality, my work quality, and also I will make sure everything I will document it, just in case people finger points at you. It happens a lot, especially in my job, because it's like project by project. So you have to make sure you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then please ask your senior or ask someone who knows. So ask them to teach you instead to tell them that, oh yeah, I know, then no one want to teach you. And another thing is trying to be humble and open-minded, and also know how to forgive. Most of the time it's more like, because I'm a girl working in an engineering firm, and only 10% of females in this firm because engineering. So most of the time, sometimes the male engineers, they might be offensive to a female engineer, but still you guys are co-worker and colleague. So for the past 1.5 years, I learned how to learn the best from the best and how to forget the worst of the worst.
Thank you so much, Betty. There were so many things that I really appreciate about you sharing, and I just like kept soaking in all the information. I don't know about all of you, but I really appreciate your journey and your story, and about being persistent. Employers want to see your persistence. They want to see you be able to advocate for yourself and the knowledge that you bring and the expertise that you have. And so I know a lot of times as international students, they say, oh, sorry, we don't sponsor. But you all know, you know what I mean? Your value that you can bring and the perspective that you can provide. And that's why typically we encourage you not to approach and bring up that subject. Let them approach and bring up that subject. And if they do ask you about it, know what it means. Know if you have STEM extension. Being able to say, I can work for you for up to 3 years, that's music to their ears. Because turnover rates, retention rates are really high because the market's so good, right? So know about how to explain and fight and advocate for yourself and the value that you can bring. Find those talking points. Okay, good. Okay, so something that's really common is skills. What skills should I have? What skills are employers looking for? Before you leave, do you want to highlight some of the skills that you think are like really necessary to be a strong top performer at your job?
As all have mentioned, in a workplace, you have to be connected with everyone, whatever you are doing, and that thing makes everyone knows that what you are doing and what let others knows that what I am doing. So that's very important factor to measure success. And upon that, I would want to add to all the juniors who are looking for full time. I would say that it's a journey. You will be a down point, it would be up points. Your friends will get a job, maybe your roommates will get a job. So don't worry, just stay calm. That's the holding truth. You know that you will get it. And in the end, you will get it. You know that. I am assuring that everyone will get a job. So don't worry about that. Whoever gets it or what salary he or she is getting it. So don't worry about those things. Or someone is getting in summer internship or someone is getting his. So don't worry. You will definitely get it. Just work on your homework. You will definitely get it.
Perfect. Deja, you want to add on?
For the skills, I would say communication, because like a lot of employers are like looking for people who can speak really good. Like, that will help them, build a better team. And of course, software skills, and also the flexibility to work, I would say, because if work demands, you need to be really flexible to work. And if there is no work, you can take off. So that's how you should be. That's how you should be in your speaking in the interview. That you're really flexible to do whatever they ask. Yeah.
Okay, and then I think anybody else want to comment on the skills? Skills? No? Yeah.
I can talk about specific to what I do is product management. So something I realized when I joined Northeastern was there's a big divide between supply chain and data, especially in the engineering management department. Not sure if that still exists. So me and a few other students who have different interests, I was interested in product management, and initially I was discouraged by many of my peers. They're like, you're not going to get a job, it's not too technical, but nobody knew what they're talking about basically. That's the result of what I realized there. So I kind of chose very different courses. Most of my courses were from the B school. I ended up taking extra courses. I also did a summer school course at Harvard Extension School. So my advice is if you guys should just focus on what you're interested in, try to figure that out early. And Northeastern has a lot of coursework aligned for what you want to do, a lot of certifications. So specific to my domain, it would be a blend of data which you have. It depends on the kind of product manager you want to become. So you have good courses you need to pick up, like SQL is basic, I'm sure you guys would be familiar with that right now and eventually. And there are good business school courses you can choose to take from Northeastern. So just build a blend, especially if you're interested in product management. It's a blend of knowing the market, knowing the business, and knowing the tech. Otherwise, it's usually, you would assume it's UX, tech, and business. That's what people look for, but that's not true. You need to have two of these three, which is that if you have the tech and the market knowledge or just the interest, that works. They'll hire you based on the interest. So you don't need to worry about, you don't have everything yet, and don't feel that you're not ready, because eventually when you get there, yes, your master's program will make you ready, get you ready, but that it depends again. So don't worry about before you interview if you're ready or not. It's going to work out.
Go ahead.
Just quick, we have moved on from the networking part, but I would like to add that try investing in making connections. Like, don't just do that generic LinkedIn message. Now that I'm on the other side of the table, I know how annoying it is that an unknown person comes to me and tells me, just refer. So you find people who are in the similar domain as you guys are. Use the search filter for Northeastern alumni. Reach out to them and tell them, this is what I'm looking for. This is my experience. Try to connect with them. Try to have them take interest in you guys, and then you can forward your resume. And I have literally had people who have redlined my resume to give me instructions that this is what you're presenting wrong, and it really made a difference. So try staying away from generic emails, generic LinkedIn messages. Try to personalize it as much as possible, and you get the rewards for that. So because a lost connection is like the cost of that is much more than just. I know you guys are desperate for a job, but it's much better if you invest.
I think an important note is, when it comes to networking and building that linkage between you and someone that you want to do something for you, is you have to get them to like you. You need to find that common interest. And so the personalizing is so important because that shows like a connection, that relatability. That's how we find our friends. You have something in common, something that ties you together. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to add more on one thing about the skill that we know, because it's because we are all engineering, right? We know all the technical stuff, and we know all the design, all the system, all the software. But what we didn't know is about entrepreneurship. It's about the managing skill that is kind of like we didn't learn that one, and we did good at. And then when I went to work, I have no idea what they're talking about the balance sheet or we just take the very basic one. I think this skill is kind of, for me, it's kind of try to take class, not just your program. I mean for the business school or like a project manager or all the class that is make you have different background and have variety of background, because when you went to work you can learn new things. It's kind of I don't want to say kind of bullshitting, but it's when they look at it, they didn't know everyone have the same thing, but if you not make it quality of background, you can do this, they're not going to pick you at the beginning, and you're not going to be able to get interview. So because after you get interview, it depends on you. You can be real and you can do anything. You can answer anything.
Go ahead, Betty.
So about networking, for me it's not more like, oh, I need a job so I need to go networking. It's more like I'm very hungry, so every time when I meet someone that is smarter than me, know more than me, so I would just like approach them and then say, hey, my name is Betty, can you teach me this? I'm so interested in this and that. That's how I met my first mentor in Northeastern, like back in 2.5 years ago. That's like really interesting, and then he was working in the facility and still working here, and I just bumped into him in the Rago station. When I walked out, I'm like, oh my god, my friend, I haven't met you for so long. And he was the first one who really brought me into the mechanical building industry. And then he asked me, Betty, are you interested in learning boiler system and the steam system? I'm like, sure, but my background is electrical engineer. I said, okay. He's like, no problem, I'll give you training. So it's been for like a year, and then I kept bugging him like, I need a co-op. Can you find an empty position for me in facility? He's like, sorry my friend, we have him and he and no position. You know, people always say those to you, but never give up. So I'm like, can you be my reference? I found an interview at RDK. Can you just be a really good reference and say some good words to me? He's like, sure, no problem. And then for my first energy conference 2 years ago, I met my another mentor working at National Grid. It was just like I was taking pictures for all the attendees and the panelists. And then I met him. I'm like, oh, hi Dave, my name is Betty. Do you mind if I get your name card so I can send you the photos? And then after sending him photo, and then he asked me, hey, so what school are you at, and then what year, and are you looking for co-op or internship? What can I do for you? I'm like, sure, I want you to teach me this and that. So since then, we are like, I always keep testing him like, hey Dave, do you want to come out for coffee? Do you want to come out for breakfast? I can show you some good brunch around Boston too, since you live so far away. So it's more like how you treat your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your wife, husband. It's more like building a friendship and a relationship for long term instead of short term. It's not a joke, it's true, because right now I'm in this position as a mechanical engineer, but I'm really interested in like getting business for my company. So I went out to a lot of like networking event with my boss, and I tried so many times to like purposely make a network with someone, some stranger, and bump to them, hey, I'm Betty from Jacobs Engineer, and I can do this and we can do that, and people just walk away. That is really frustrating, but telling me that you have to treat them as a friend at the beginning instead of being needy, greedy.
Thank you so much, Betty. That was very insightful. And if you've heard me talk about, who here have heard about my garden metaphor to networking? Raise your hand. Does anybody remember? Yes, I know a couple people. Okay, do you see what I mean by the garden network, right? Starting by planting a seed, building that relationship with someone. You want to plant it in the type of soil, right? Based upon what you're interested in, and continue giving that seed some love, right? That really aligns with Betty's story. Thank you so much for sharing. So how many of you can relate when you think about the number of co-ops you've applied for, or the number of jobs you've applied for, and you don't hear back? Does that sound familiar to people in the room? So I know a couple of people want to touch upon how many jobs they applied for when they were job searching, and how many interviews they won as well. Tisha, you want to get started?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I know you guys are like looking for co-ops and also for full-time. For the co-ops, I mean, like, you'll be looking for full-times later. So for my co-op, I applied around maybe 70 to 80 companies, and
I see some eyes widen a little bit.
so that was on my own, but through the co-op advisor, he only let us apply for 8 companies. I don't know what's the reason. So he has prepared a list of 400 companies, and we just need to pick top 8 companies. That's how it works during our time. And for my full time, I only applied for like 15 companies, and I got 3 interviews. The first one was like I messed up the interview. The second one, till now I did not hear back. And I'm not waiting for it, of course. So the third one I got a offer, but that was after a 2 months wait. So that was like really frustrating. The application process is not frustrating, but the wait after you put your 100% is like, you'll know once you are in that position. So yeah.
So being persistent and being patient, right? Because how many of us after we interview we're like, okay, so when are they going to get back to me, right? So it sounds like being patient, being persistent, continuing to apply for other positions, and not banking on one, right? Having a couple feelers out there. Does anybody else want to touch on their interviews? A couple people.
My experience for my co-op, I just applied to one company and I got it, so I was super lucky. That's because a friend of mine he didn't get through. I just joined at hardly 2 months of my master's degree. I joined in spring 17 and I got it in Feb. That's because a friend of mine referred. So it was really a very not a normal way of getting it. So I got it, and then I spoke to my co-op advisor. They were like, okay, because they were not posted on NU Careers yet, and there was a lot of things which had to be done. But that kind of, made me a little overconfident probably when I was looking for the full-time, because I got it the first time. But the full-time search again, it was it wasn't little, it was hard. And I ended up applying, tried different methods. I'm sure you guys will get to the point, waking up in the morning, trying it late night, different ways of networking. But eventually I realized it's about just focusing on what really makes sense to your role, looking at those descriptions and seeing if it resonates with you, try networking with someone. If it doesn't, apply to it. So that's how it works. So as long as you know what you want and you know that role fits perfectly, it should align. So you don't really need to apply to 100, 200 jobs a day. You can even be 10 and that would click. So.
Okay. Interviews, plenty of job applications. I think I would have applied like daily 8 to 10 jobs from the beginning of 2018 to all the way to August. And sometimes you get a reply. If you don't, you'll get used to not getting replies. And the whole pattern of your automated rejection, it's just like you know it by heart. Like you can read one word of that email and you know that they're rejecting you. Okay, the part he said, the wait is frustrating. So when someone comes back to you saying, okay, we like your profile, we want to get in touch with you. So now your heart is racing, now you're excited, now you're thinking, oh my God, I've got this job. And then again, it's a wait. You have to be patient. You have to give it at least 2 weeks before you send out an email again, and then wait for like a third round. And interviewers also, they're not the best people. They're not the smartest minds. Most of them, they just do what a computer does. Honestly speaking, they should be looking out for what you bring different, not just that how evenly your job description matches your resume. So it's not just like conversion, and it's not like a copy paste. You need to show them that you're excited, you're curious, you're versatile, you can do this, you can do that, you're gonna do whatever you need, and I'm just gonna be there and deliver and not let you down. So that's it's a very lengthy process. You guys have to keep going, and I don't want to scare you. It's not like, so he got his first interview, his first job. Congratulations to him. I wish everybody has that sort of luck. But it is challenging for us, but it's not impossible, and we can definitely come across on the other side.
In respect to the recruitment process, I'd like to share a personal experience. So as a mechanical engineer graduating in May, I interviewed out of state in June, and within 1 day, I got a call saying that you have the job, congratulations, whatnot, and I will send you the on-paper offer the next day. I waited 2 weeks and they ghosted on me. That's what happened to me. But the current position I'm working in, I had interviewed as a contract engineer. So, but that also didn't work out. 2 or 3 months down the line, they got back to me that we have a position and they really liked you when they interviewed you. Are you interested? So in that vision, I was like in a position where I could leverage and I could say, I don't want a contract position, I want a full-time job. And they really liked me and they offered me a full-time job. So you have to be persistent and you have to always bring your A game. If there are situations where things don't work out after like everything went fine, you still have to like keep on improving yourself and you have to keep on making yourself out there that people take interest in you, and it eventually does work out and better things are there in place for you.
One more comment.
Just like to add a quick thing, but before that, I just want to make it clear, because they are recording this session. I have no plans of leaving my current job. And then I would like to add this. So the one I mentioned that I still did not hear back from the company after the interview. That was my second interview for full time. Just in case if anything happens in future, I would not hesitate to follow up. And just don't get like discouraged, even if it's like a year or something, because it's your need. You need to do what is necessary. So I just wanted to add.
How many of you feel like when you fill out an online application, whether you're applying for co-op or job search, you submit it and then it goes into like a black hole and you have no idea what happens to your application? Anybody resonate with that? Yeah. And it's really hard, and it's, it causes some anxiety for us because we're really eager and excited about the opportunity. So I think, based upon these alumni's experiences, ensuring that if you don't hear about anything, follow up within a 2-week period, right? Never turn down opportunities until you have signed that offer letter, right? And you have it in writing and you submitted it. Because you don't want to find yourself in a position, especially with your EAD card start date and those types of things, that makes it more complex and more dynamic. So I know a final question that I want to ask, but does anyone in the audience have a question that they would like to take the opportunity to ask our panelists? Yes?
My question is to Ajit. First of all, thank you for telling about product management, because it's like now it's I'm in the first semester and I need to do I need to choose my courses. So everyone's like data and supply chain, and there are a bunch of us who are looking for product management roles, and thank you for clearing that out first of all. And so I just wanted to know your journey through, like how did you choose your courses, and about your co-op experience as well.
So before coming off my masters, I started off as a software engineer, and I moved up as a functional consultant. And it was a journey for me, because from software to moving to a little bit of consulting, and it was all in the SAP domain. And then I worked as a product analyst. So that's the first time I got in touch with product management as such, because I work with product teams and data teams. And at that point I decided I wanted to pursue a master's in engineering management specifically, because it's a technical MBA, is how companies look at it right now. So, and my coursework would entail, because I had a data background, I not a data heavy person or a data science person. It's not somewhere I'm going to head into. But I wanted to just strengthen that foundation. I took 2 courses here which Northeastern offers, which is DBMS, which is a prerequisite to DWBI. So I just chose those 2 because I know I'm going to just stick to business intelligence and visualization, something I've done before, just to refresh that. And I did all the core courses Northeastern has to offer for the EM degree. And I chose to do a course which is, you would have heard of it, product development for engineers. Yeah. Then if you try looking, you realize that none of it actually aligns with PM, product management as such, but there are courses. There are courses in the business school like Enterprise Growth and Innovation, which focus on design thinking. There is a course on human-computer interaction, and there are courses in the computer science school. Now I'm not sure how it works right now if you have to petition for it, but focus on courses where you have a blend of working on strategy, because I did a summer school course in Harvard, which I'm still pursuing, which will give me another degree in 2020, which if I choose to complete. So those are options as well, apart from the skills you can build. And there's product school you can look at, which has very good resources. So what I realized was through the journey was how you build that on your own as well. Because it's how you grab it. Not Boston has a lot of resources. So the courses will need to take you so far, but it's also the projects you do. So build a portfolio, build something, see if you can wireframe and do a mock-up of some idea you have, build a prototype, anything, if it's in the software side you're focusing or in the manufacturing side. It varies and depends on what you want to do. So have a portfolio at the end of your journey and have a bunch of good projects. If you have experience, good, build on that. So know your experience, know your coursework, and apply for roles accordingly. You don't really need to land as a product manager as such. You can start off as an associate product manager or a product analyst and build up from there. So you can research that well. Since you just started, you have a lot of time to think about it properly.
Thank you.
Hope that answered.
Yeah.
Another question from, yeah, please right here.
So you mentioned like the networking site or social requirements. Could you maybe repeat it?
On LinkedIn?
Just networking. If you want to touch upon like your networking approaches or sites or strategies.
Like a website?
Yeah, like you said, maybe you did something.
Yeah, there's a meetup.com. You can look that up. And then
I think you know, I got on like said something else, but I have to be like.
Is that a meetup?
The premium.
Oh, LinkedIn Premium. Oh yeah, I spoke about that. So yeah, you can get that. You can subscribe for that. I think it's $30. It gives you access to reach out to anyone on LinkedIn. Up to, I think they give you credits, so you can reach out to 7 or 8 people a month. So usually, otherwise you can't reach out to people randomly. So what I was saying is look for people. So type in the job that you want to look for and use the word hiring. So a lot of people in the industry, like when I was applying, product managers would have hiring on their bio. So it will show you people who have the word hiring on their profile, and they are hiring for their teams. They are hiring managers, not recruiters, or people in their team. So they may be doing it for a referral bonus, or maybe they're actually looking for someone in the team. It doesn't matter. Just reach out to them, because that will get you a way to connect with someone directly from the team, or they would put you to the right person. So that's that answer it?
Another small tip I can give you guys is if you guys are using LinkedIn Premium, just add the person and personalize the request. If the person adds you, you can get access to their email ID, and you can that way you can like reach out to them, and that's an interesting way to just. An email is a much professional way to interact with people as compared to LinkedIn, so you could use that way as well.
While we're on the advice train, does anybody else have any advice? Because when we think about it, they all have different journeys, and you all have various accomplishments that you've received through your journey. And so what advice would you give students who are currently studying?
Okay, so you guys have most of your masters or the courses you're doing ahead of you. During this time, you need to discover what is it about what you're studying that really resonates with you. So what happens is that most of us, we all are a group, and we all hang out together and do whatever we all like to do. And what we miss out on is building that individuality. So what my friend would be interested in, I would not be interested in. I would have an event that I want to go to, but he wouldn't be interested to go to, and I probably wouldn't go to it anyways. So it's very important that you follow exactly what you like. It's very important to speak to the professors who teach something that you like. They could always give you some insight. There's so many resources on campus. There's this one thing that really helped me was called Big Interview. It's on Blackboard. That's a huge help for people who are interviewing. Apart from working on your resume, apart from making it absolutely perfect, you also need to know what the role is looking for. You want to know what the company does. You want to know how long they've been there, who's the CEO, where's the headquarters, what is the revenue. These things are good things to give you a background on who you're talking to, and you can tell them, you can sort of like slide that information inside so they would know like, okay, you have been reading about this company, you are genuinely interested, and all these things sort of help. And I mean, of course, I've mentioned Meetup, so you can always do that. You've got plenty of resources, and just, I mean, there are people who got co-ops, and then everyone's like, wow, you got a co-op, and then after it was through and they graduated, he had a harder time getting a full-time than people who didn't do a co-op. So it's not essential that you need to do a co-op to get a full-time, or you need to get some work study done. You could be an absolute fresher, but you just have to keep trying, you just have to be persistent, and you are going to find a role eventually. So that's what.
I'm just going to add to that because I completely agree with that, because all of you have come, you left your hometown, you're here, you're all for pursuing a journey. So just stick to what you feel you would like doing in the long run, and not just for the money or because it sounds cool. So do something you guys are passionate about. Eventually it will pay off, and just focus on working towards that in your throughout your master's journey. So just stick to that.
Can you hold it for just a couple seconds? Okay, go ahead. Anybody else?
So for me, it's more like, because currently we are looking for co-op in full-time. I want to talk about like what kind of people that we are actually looking for. So for my group, we typically looking for people with mechanical background or electrical background. That would be the best. And besides your solid skill, the soft skill is also very important, because we are a group, we are a family. So you have to be a really good person and responsible person. For me, it's more like sometimes I have to work over 80 hours for a week because I have deadline, I have to work. So sometimes I stay up until like 1 a.m., 12. That's normal. If you're ready for this, then you can come talk to me. But I can tell you, like, I love my job very much. It's pretty challenging because it's project by project. Do you guys know the Wynn Casino in Everett? That's actually our Jacobs project. And also we build a lot of cool buildings. And also other skills would be like, you fast learner. Because majorly we use Revit for the model building. And also for me, I also do sustainable work. So if you have LEED background, fit well background, that will be perfect. And if you know any kind of energy modeling software like eQuest, ChanTrace, that would be a surplus. But if you don't know any, that's fine. Because before, I didn't know anything at all. So if you're willing to spend time, sit down and learn with us after you are hired, I really appreciate, because this is a roadmap if you want to develop your career. This is how you learn. If you don't know, please ask. Don't guess. Because if you make a one wrong assumption, it will affect the entire building system. It's gonna cost a lot, billions cost for a company. So please be a hungry person instead of like sitting laid back and wait for clock out.
So my advice, this applies to like not only for engineering or regulatory science, or this applies to everyone in general. So if I know you guys like have come a long way and you really are looking for jobs, trying to improve your skills, and if you are like really serious in getting a job, my piece of advice would be don't take life so seriously. Because sometimes you need to take a step back and look where you're going. Are you going in the right path? So if you're in engineering, it's not necessary that you take courses like, okay, if you're doing software engineering, learn C++, Java, coding, programming. I mean, like, I would say you need to focus on that. And on top of it, you also need to learn like general skills like management and psychology, I would say, because in my experience, marketing and psychology are like two key things apart from the courses which I have taken. Marketing and business strategies in general applies everywhere. If you can take this example, they have Haley, Natalie, and Mary, they have organized this event to share our experiences to you to find a job. I'm pretty sure they'll be reaching to you guys after you get a job. So I know that that must be some, there must be some term in business for that, I guess, right? Yeah. So that would be my advice. Yeah.
Can I add one last thing? Because I think I saw you guys like kind of like have a personality like me. I'm kind of like low confident guy. I never speak with anyone. Actually, my English is not that perfect. You can ask my classmates. Like, there are many of you. And also like try to like improve your self confidence. Proud like who you are. Proud of what you have done so far, and just believe in yourself and like with the advice like go for it. Like don't be afraid because because you don't have second OPT, you have only one OPT, right? Because you know what I mean. One level, only one OPT. Is mean for the master degree, you only have one OPT. If you take another master degree, you're not allowed to get OPT. So only one chance. And then for 3 years, if you cannot get 1B here, they have a 60%, I can talk after if you're not recorded. It's like they have a 60% citizen apply for the very close nearby country right here as well. That's why you have a lot of opportunity. Be prepared. Yeah.
You have a good question.
Thank you all the panelists for your extremely helpful insight. My question is to all of you. And this is assuming that you all got more than one job offers. So what I have seen my friends when they were getting full-time job offers, they had to make a difficult choice because one job offered more salary, one was their passion, and one was taking them to a different location, like without any friends, and that had more salary and that had more what they were focused on. So what to decide if I was in if any of you had to face that?
Okay, so that's a very good question. What I would start with is that if the job is what you really want, your friends and where it's pulling you in which corner of the US, you should not think twice about that, right? You found a job, it has a description that you like, it has responsibilities that you like, it's going to help you grow in which direction you want to grow in. So because of your friends or because of it's not in like a New York City or a California, you pass on it, I wouldn't recommend that. And if in case it's an option between a high paying job and a satisfying job, I would still go with satisfying because you are right at the beginning of your career. So you have enough time to climb that ladder and be good at something you like to do, then go for the money and then do something that you're not really interested in and then probably do a shift like 3-4 years down the line, and then again you would probably drop down because your experience is not relevant to what you want to do at that point, right?
I was just going to add to that. So I would say don't do it for the money right now. It's all about learning. So everything is learnable. That's what I realized through my coursework and my masters, my experience. So find what you're passionate about. It pays off. Each one for themselves, but I would say it pays off in the long run. So I have friends who take up really high-paying jobs, but feel bad they don't have the time for anything. I have a friend who's in a really cool position. He used to work for a job that didn't pay too much, but he had a proper work-life balance. He feels that now, hardly 4 months into it, he wants to quit. He wants to switch. So it depends person to person, but in the end it's, you are in your 20s, or it depends, I can't say that for everyone, but sorry about that. So it is the right time to learn and focus on that, and if you find something you're passionate about and you're good at, that's a really great combination. Or if you're good at something it pays, go for that, but passion, you eventually will find it. That's what we're all working towards. Not everybody focus on that, but I would say focus on that. The money will eventually come, and enjoy your life. Like you said, don't take it too serious.
I'd like to answer your question too. So if I were you, I would be fine with any job which pays like above industry salary. So you can just use websites like Glassdoor or LinkedIn Salary to find that out. And what was your other questions? Like what factors did you consider?
So one thing was a different location, and the job has good salary, and it has like the area is focused on what the area is what I want to pursue, and second is the job that like, offers significantly good salary, like higher than it, and the third is like satisfying the job, the perfect goal.
Yeah, I mean, coming to your area of interest, I would say because this is your starting of your career, I think you should be fine with fine learning exploring any new areas, right? So within construction management or civil engineering, I know you're in construction management, so yeah. So for the salary, anything above industry standard, and for the location, I would say I would choose a company where there are no issues with visa. You know why? Yeah, exactly. So when I applied to companies, my first filter was like the locations, like the offices, are they like international? So in case if anything happens, with the visa and stuff, so you need to be really flexible and talk to your company about this. So I would choose something like that for the company. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
I think a lot of us, when we think about the decisions that we make in our career, there's so many what ifs, right? And our recent alumni panel, they're speaking about the experiences that they've come across, that they've had as recent alumni, and they're going to have even more things that they are going to be experiencing, and we can already hear in their voices, in their current roles. Many of them have that network of people, right? They have people within their organization, they have people within their community, their support network, that they can reach out to get that context to really help them prosper and be successful. So I think all of you, when you think about the resources, how many of you came here because Northeastern's known for their career component, right? Career brand, because Northeastern's a machine when it comes to supporting your career. You have your professors, you have your advisors, right? You have your career counselors, you have your co-op coordinators. We're a huge system, right? And so think about tapping into all of those systems, and when you're trying to make decisions and your values are differing, right? Right now, like you have values that might relate to your short-term goals, and over time you're going to have other values that may drive you to continuously be successful. But there's a reason why part of our philosophy as career counselors is that we want to make sure you are in a role that is fulfilling for you, because when you're really good at the role and you do your research, you can negotiate that salary, okay? And you will be doing so good at your job that you'll be approached for other positions, right? And so when you're good at what you do, okay, think about the factors that have continued to successfully elevate you, right? I know a couple people mentioned, various tools and resources. Rohan mentioned Big Interview. We talked about networking. We talked about LinkedIn. We talked about Meetup. We talked about, so many different things to help support you in your job search. Networking, right? How important and integral that is. So definitely think about utilizing the resources that you have now as a student, because they're still going to be here for you when you graduate as well. That's a part of the Northeastern brand. We're here for lifelong success. Okay, so log into your My Northeastern account. Go to the second section, the career section. That's where you'll see Big Interview, so you can practice interviewing. That's where you'll see our career guides for you to join professional associations, to find out when those expeditions are, when those conferences are, to go to those events, right? And feel free to visit our office. In employer engagement and career design, we have a career studio open when our office is open, which is not typical business hours. We're a co-op institution. So Monday through Friday, we're open 8:30 till 7 p.m. and Fridays 8:30 to 5. In our career studio, no appointment needed. Okay, you can come in and get career support at that moment. Okay, so we really, really appreciate you all taking time time out of your evening to come spend. Can we give our amazing alumni panel a round of applause? Thank you so much for coming. Please feel free to connect with Haley, Natalie, or myself if you have any feedback that you would like to provide us about this event tonight. Thank you so much, ladies, for being amazing collaborators on this initiative. It has been a pleasure collaborating with you, and I can't wait to further collaborate with you in the coming months and years. Thank you so much for coming.